Welcome to the distant future of an alternate Earth. A century ago, this Earth was ravished by decades of brutal bug-eye infestation. However, with the indispensable help of a mysterious interdimensional benefactor called Minister Prime, a second chance at civilization became possible. Construction began on what was to be the first of a new wave of great American cities. Today, Green City, the first of many, is overcrowded, crumbling, and corrupt. Enter the Sky Rat, a powerful but inexperienced superhero whose fight against Tony Poseidon's gang has put him smack dab in the middle of a war between the city's four largest competing criminal gangs: the Tonys, the Louis, the Left Hand, and the city's own corrupt officials. Green City is going to burn, and Sky Rat cannot save it alone. Team up to help Sky Rat strategize, defeat the gangs, and return Green City to her people. Welcome to the gangs of Green City.
A mile west of the coastline was the circled island of Green City, a 600-square-mile Neo-Atlantis rising from the sea like a spaceship peeking its nose through a portal from another dimension. Callie and Scott's home, the home to nearly 25 million other folks, glistened inside its walls, a safe haven and prison alike. Scott had never seen it from the air before. To see the enormity of it like this was to be shot between the eyes with its perfect technological marvel. Boats and drones were moving towards and away from it in mass, like bugs skating on the surface of the water. Jets, helicopters, and spaceships, the winged creatures of the ecosystem, dripped in and out of the skyline, racing off and slowing in. Near the center of the southeast side of the island were the towering skyscrapers of the commercial district's downtown. The tallest building was Minister Prime's, the Empirical Building, with its needle-like protrusion injecting commerce into the blue dome of the Earth's lower atmosphere.
Name: Scott Turner, alias Skyrat. Age: 16. Green City's gang problem cost Scott Turner his best friend. So when the hive-minded Tony Triads invaded his Green City neighborhood, the 10th grader donned a mask made from a red t-shirt sleeve and began using his mysterious, unpredictable superpowers to fight the hoodlums off. His first mission was successful, but Scott's no good at balancing his life, a point that hits home hard when his creative writing teacher, Wayne Bird, recognizes his student under the t-shirt sleeve one fateful evening. Complicating matters, the Louis gang is posed to take advantage of a vacuum forming in the city, and Skyrat will soon find himself teaming with Bird, a pair of questionably ethical cops and a sect of math-worshipping cultists to become the unlikely protector of a once sworn enemy. Name: Louisa Tagyara, alias Louis. Occupation: entrepreneur. Enigmatic, cunning, ruthless. Louisa may be the owner of several legitimate Green City businesses, but under the cloak of legitimacy, Louis has a tight grip on the city's bliss trade. Conversely, her loose but matronly leadership style has been successful in uniting many of the city's disparate gangs under her banner. And recently, LL has moved her Louis gang against the rival Tony gang, as well as left-hand militia, convincing GCPD that she's declared war on the competition. Her war, however, may not be what it seems. Name: Esperanza Espy Vasquez. Age: 17. Born to a field obstetrician and a mentally ill factory worker, Espy's mother was hospitalized soon before her father was killed while delivering a baby in the Evil East, effectively making her an orphan. After years in foster care, Espy emancipated from the system. Now the fiercely independent 11th grader shares an apartment with her guinea pigs and a Genusian sci-fly, Jasper. Espy dreams of being a doctor like her father, but first she has to pass high school calculus. and maybe convince her best friend Scott not to go out, play superhero, and get himself killed fighting Green City's gangs as her boyfriend did. Name: Wayne Bird. Age: 180. Approximately. In our world, college student Wayne Bird was a depressed, directionless, alcoholic writer. However, transported to the plague-ridden earth of a parallel reality, Wayne found his purpose as a freedom-fighting journalist. Nearly 150 years later, semi-retired and working as a creative writing teacher at Green City High School, Mr. Bird finds himself face to face with the Skyrat, a superhero he made up when he was only 7 years old. Is this a coincidence? A cosmic inevitability? The senility of an old man? Or could it be fate? Name: Gabrielle Fibonacci, alias Factor. Occupation: Senior Brot Monk, Green City. Born in Green City to second-generation Janutian immigrants, Fibonacci was sent to Brot Monastery on Janus for schooling after several bullying incidents sparked by her unfortunate facial deformity, the result of a bout of Kwazami's melting sickness in her infancy. After graduating with a doctorate in applied fractal geometry, she returned to Earth and began working for the Green City Brot Order, soon being promoted up through the ranks. As senior monk, her passion has been working with retired Tony gang members who are struggling with the reacclimating to mental and emotional autonomy after being freed from the hive mind. Meanwhile, the Brots she oversees struggle. Widely viewed as cultists, they're regularly targeted by xenophobic Louis gang members. A violent fact of life that's about to bring Factor and Skyrat together in an unlikely alliance. Name: John Campbell Bird, alias Geronimo. Occupation: ruler of Iago. Rescued from an organ farm in the Evil East by Wayne and Lucretia Bird at 12 years old, John Campbell resolved to remain free at any cost. The boy spent 6 summers in Birdland, the Bird family's idyllic commune several miles from the Green City coast. When clashes over water during a drought broke out with a pair of neighboring communities, John fell in with the militants, placing him on a brutal path, a path that would lead to the destruction of Birdland and Geronimo's rise to absolute power in the burgeoning city of Iago. 30 years on, Iago is an economic and military force to be reckoned with, and Geronimo wants nothing less than to usurp control of Green City from Minister Prime. Names: Matthew Villarreal and Robert Applebaum, aliases Borg and Laser, respectfully. Occupation: detectives, Green City Police, Department of Piracy. Roommates at the Academy and formerly partners in the prestigious Interdimensional Crimes Unit. Villarreal's penchant for the nanomechanical drug Bliss and Applebaum's drunken philandering proved a toxic combination, igniting a scandal that nearly cost the pair their careers. Demoted to a position in their home reality, Borg and Laser now work intelligence for the Department of Piracy, closely monitoring the black market exports shipping out from a disputed corner of the warehouse district, a hotspot for clashes between the Tonys and the Louis. When a personal shipment for Louis arrives on a small boat as scheduled, Borg and Laser find their operation impeded by Skyrat, and a career-changing opportunity begins to present itself. Tony Poseidon was once the warden of an Evil East penitentiary, utilizing an illegal Janutian hive mind technology to keep the inmates in line. Now Poseidon's a mob boss, using the same technology to control his Tony gang, while his vast fishing and processing empire serve as a convenient front for moving black market goods from Janus, as well as the nanomechanical drug called Bliss. The Tonys travel in groups of 3 called a triad. With little in the way of independent thought, triads carry out Poseidon's marching orders like worker bees. However, some individual personality traits may occasionally express themselves, particularly the traits of the triad's strongest personality, the so-called alpha Tony of the threesome. This is why members of a triad tend to share similar postures, grooming, and personal hygiene. Name: Orson Mayfield. Alias: Berserker. Occupation: hired muscle, thief, hitman. A 6th-dimensional being projecting their consciousness into biological matter of the 4th-dimensional universe Skyrat occupies, Mayfield's ultimate intentions in Green City are nebulous. There's no doubt, however, that he's free from the burden of loyalty. Just as willing to work for Louie as he is Tony Poseidon, Geronimo, or anyone else who names the right price. Rumor has it that Tony Poseidon recently went into hiding after learning that Berserker had accepted a contract to kill him. Meanwhile, after several annoying run-ins with Skyrat, the Colossus of Green City would be more than happy to exterminate our hero at no cost to his clients. Name: Samantha Satang, alias Samantha Cyber. Occupation: model. Age: 23. Born to homeless parents on the streets of Green City, Samantha was fortunate enough to be adopted into a loving, wealthy home, whose money came from the production and distribution of Bliss, a nanomechanical drug that induces euphoric states by unleashing a vast but microscopic army of mind-altering biodrones inside users' brains. At 20, Samantha gave up her fledgling but floundering career as a model and opted for life-changing and form-changing surgical cybernetic enhancements to permanently correct severe nerve damage to her right arm and hand, suffered when left-hand terrorists bombed a political event she was attending while dating a trial lawyer. As luck would have it, cybernetically enhanced was a commercially viable look, and Samantha now finds herself a star of the Green City fashion world. But she mustn't forget who helped her get there. Name: Samir Patel. Occupation: lead detective, Special Investigations Unit, Green City Police Department. Partner: CT-23, aka Copcat. Extortion, bribery, blackmail, witness tampering, evidence planting, assault, murder. In his early days as a young Green City beat cop, Officer Patel would never have imagined himself becoming the kind of crooked cop he is. But over the years, small compromises on top of small compromises slowly eroded his integrity. Now he's been promoted to a lone wolf role in the Special Investigations Unit, while simultaneously becoming Louie's very own man on the inside of the force. He's always been officially assigned a task that'll make life easier for the Louis, as well as the GCPD. He's charged with locating and removing the so-called superhero Skyrat from the streets. Name: Minister Prime. Occupation: politician, art dealer, model, pirate. With more than 70% of Earth's population dead from or infected by the bug-eye virus, human extinction was prevented when Minister Prime arrived with vast multiversal resources at her disposal. Partnering with what remained of the U.S. government, Minister Prime's forces destroyed half the country's infected population while moving survivors to strategic locations along the coasts, where miles across the oceans, walled island cities were under construction. Today, 100 and some years on, the mysterious benefactor has barely aged a day, and has made herself the thinly veiled, unelected leader of the United States, serving under a politically impotent president. Some believe she's Earth's savior, but others see her as an alien opportunist who's turned Earth into a swap meet for the multiverse. Still, others question her long-term plans as her political power grows and her influence over the heads of government of U.S. allies is beginning to produce shocking victories in her favor. No one, however, is even close to guessing her true motives, except for one person, Geronimo, ruler of Iago and Green City's biggest threat.